All right, I'll start us off then. Welcome everybody to the April conference call, Growers Conference Call. Thanks for listening in. So my name is Zach Smith. I'm the Assistant Director of Research. That's Jim, and then Zach Holmer is on this call as well. He works under Jim as well. So the bulk of this call is going to be with Nelson Wedge, Tim Marland, Zach Holmer, and Don Sensenig. They're out in New York, and Nelson Wedge's family farm was featured in, I believe it's the June month of the calendar this year. They've been on that farm for over 100 years now, gone through 4 generations. They've been on the growers program since the 90s, so I'm sure they'll have a lot to talk about. If we have time toward the end, we will cover an experiment that was done about a year and a half ago with sod microbes on a petri dish and whether they preferred 1034 growers. That was quite an interesting result too. To start us off, it'll be our Director of Research, Jim Holbeisen. As he said, he's got a few high points he wants to discuss with current events, and then we'll move into Zach Holmer and the others. So just so you guys know, when there's opportunity to ask questions, it's *6 to unmute yourself. Also, we've changed up the conference call this year. After this call here, we won't have another one until September. That'll be on September the 9th, the second Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So there won't be anything over the next 4 months, just so you guys know. All right, Jim, you're good to go?
Yep, ready to go. Thanks, Zach. My name is Jim Holbeisen, and I just cover a few current events before we turn it over to the main speakers. Probably the biggest current event was the prospective planning report that was released on the 31st of March. And at that point, we had a limit up move in both corn and beans. Following day, we had another up move, and then that kind of tapered off a little bit. But that put us back into a whole different region as far as price is concerned. It's still in the stratosphere. We have a WASA report that comes out tomorrow where they're going to, the intentions report to where the problem was at is the number of acres that are going to be planted according to the government. There's about 3 million disappeared. Nobody really knows where that's at. Everybody thinks that the government will have to readjust that. But for now, they're basically going to work with those numbers, and the report tomorrow is going to show that their carryovers are going to be cut back to a certain degree. The other thing with today's market, the corn market was up another 20 cents on nearby corn because of the dryness that we're seeing in the upper north central region. Our people that we're working with in North Dakota have fantastic dryness up there, and that extends up into southern Canada, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and they are showing significant lack of rainfall in the last 6 months. So again, spring wheat values escalated very steeply today, and that drugged corn along with it. So again, this is what's put the price of commodities up, and we're seeing that in fertilizer prices. The recent report from BTN is showing that
boy, they're having trouble with their doggone internet. Not coming in worth crap.
had complete sticker shock. So again, we feel that this is something that we can help guys with. Prices stayed the same. We're trying to hold it. We're getting a little bump with some technicalities from the industry, but we're trying to hold that price. So if you've been considering us, this is probably the year to give us a serious look. The other thing that is going very quickly right now is looking at the biological market. In our research department, we're studying a apparatus called the microbiometer, where we're actually trying to measure microbiological biomass. We think this is really the wave of the future, as in deference to the regular chemical soil test. And we will be pursuing that in detail. One of the things we're going to be doing with the microbiometer is testing things like compost tea, bug in the jug, We think this is an area that has a lot of incongruencies in it, basically pulling the wool over people's eye. So if this microbiometer does work, we should be able to measure that biomass for you and give you some idea of whether you're getting what you're paying for. And then the other thing that we have a little suspicion of is when you add growers to like a compost tea or to a bug in a jug, that this will invigorate the microbiology in that particular material. We think this is actually happening in the field too, and that's our ultimate goal with the microbiometer, is to go to the field and see if we can see some differences once you implement the program. And this is where we feel you're going to be able to cut back on these fertilizer applications, getting the rhizosphere biology functioning correctly. You'll be able to feed the plant, utilize what you've got, be much more efficient with what you apply. If you're using waste, we feel you'll be able to take better advantage of the waste by using our philosophy. We know that with manure and calcium, that's a very good combination. With the microbiometer, we hope to be able to show guys that this has got some real possibilities. The month of January, if you looked at the calendar, we had a gentleman on that has got a significant amount of help with frost protection in 2020. He just had another event here right before Easter. He followed a very similar protocol he did in 2020, actually went with more material, and the result right now is looking excellent. About 24 hours, maybe not quite 24 hours after the event, checking the blossoms, he still thinks he's going to have to thin out peaches to get to the right volumes, to get the right size. So he's very happy. Talking with some people that's in his area using growers to try to starve off that frost worked very, very nicely. And in the interim, we've had some research work that we've done with alfalfa, looking excellent. Frost on the alfalfa after it was sprayed fairly heavily with growers, and the alfalfa survived. So that'll be basically published work that you guys will see probably next winter, maybe the late fall or the winter solution. But we think it has tremendous possibilities, particularly with forages, and we're showing consistently that we're helping in the fruit and vegetable industry also. Okay, Zach Holmer, that's pretty well covers the current events, so I'm going to let you run from here with it.
Everybody trying to get on tonight?
Good.
Hey, now can you hear me?
Yep. Loud and clear, person.
Okay. All right, Carla just unmuted me. I just heard it. So
good deal.
There again, getting a bunch of text messages and phone calls from guys trying to get on right now. So if I break up a little bit, I'll apologize now. But to the wedges, if you would please hit *6 to unmute yourself and let us know if you're actually on here, please.
Yeah. Nelson Weaver's on. Hear me?
Yes, I hear you, Nelson.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
But you said Nelson Weaver. I need Nelson Wedge.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, I just said you didn't know if people are getting through, but no, it's not Nelson Wedge, so yeah.
Okay.
It's not him.
All right. Well, good to have you on tonight, Nelson Weaver. All right. Anybody at the Wedges phone, can you try to *6 again and unmute yourself?
Hey, how's that?
Hey, that sounds like Tim Marland.
Hey, you know what? It is, because we've been waiting for this all day, and we're right here. We're talking. And glad to hear from you, Zach. Glad to hear Jim. And I got Nelson and Deb here and myself.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, folks, for all of you guys coming on tonight. And tonight, what I get to go over here for a little bit is the June 2021 calendar picture, where we're showing off the Wedges celebrating their 100th anniversary of the dairy farm there up in Earlville, New York. Nelson is the third generation, and his son Larry is obviously the fourth generation. So obviously a nice multi-generational farm here. So from this particular point, I'm going to just open it up to Nelson and Larry for a moment, and anything you guys want to say in specific to get started off, you guys are more than welcome to it.
Okay, Larry's not here tonight, but I'm here, and Debbie's and Tim, but
All right.
I don't know what you really want me to say, but
Well, you've been a grower's customer now for 30 almost 31 years now. So
yes.
Let's just start out with how did you get from where you started as a dairy farm and then trying to get into the growers program?
Tim's dad, Jim, stopped in, and it seems like it's been so long now I can't remember hardly, but we got started on the growers program way back then, and we've been continuously using it, so right up to now.
Vaccine site shut down after 11.
All right. Was there anything in that first conversation with Tim's dad that really stood out to you and made you decide you wanted to try this product?
Just the results they've had from the little growers magazine that they come out with and stuff, and was reading about it quite a lot, and it sounds like something I should try.
All right.
We were using a lot of what was that lime I used?
High
mag lime, and it was just our fields are so hard.
You were using some of the new K lime too.
New K lime, yes. And I knew it was the wrong way to go, so Jim said to use this high cal lime, and you'll see a lot better results. So we did.
All right.
And everything's gone from there. I haven't looked back from that. They try to get me to use the high mag lime again, and I won't use
it. Well, of course, they want your business back. They want you to come relying on them.
Yes. Yep. So.
But. All right. So. Go with a little on your dairy operation there. How about give us kind of your size of your operation and kind of what you're doing as far as your protocols and things are going that way.
We're milking 75 cows most of the time. Small herd. Me and my son and one other herd help. We have hay, mostly alfalfa hay with corn, high moisture and silage corn. Seems to work out pretty good that way for us. And I don't know. It's just if something's good, don't change it. It's working for you. Your average cow production. Okay. We used to have, like on the cow production, we used to have like a 28,000 pound herd average, but it was burning the cows out and everything. It was just too much, so we cut back grain and everything like that way, and it seems to work where the cows seem healthier. And my nutritionist has a hard time figuring out the feed weights because of the growers on the plants. Throws everything out.
That is a very common statement that I get to hear from all different growers' customers, that their poor nutritionists can't figure out rations very well because there's something about their forages and feeds that just doesn't compute by the book the way the book says it should.
Right.
So,
And our alfalfa quality is a lot better now since that's the only thing I use on my alfalfa fields is the growers and high calcium lime.
All right.
When I can get it.
Hey, Zach,
Zach,
can I ask him a question?
Sure, Jim.
Yeah. Hey, I would like to know kind of your protocols a little bit. Yeah, this is Jim Hallbison. What do you do on corn? Are you putting it in the row, and how much in the row, and then what are you doing about foliar feeding on corn?
Presently, you're foliage spraying on some of his corn.
Yes.
We went from being in liquid back to dry, just a change of a corn planter. So foliage feed is primarily where they're going on some of it when they can get on it. I can speak for that, Jim.
Throw away from you. Well, then, Timmy, what about the protocol on today as far as foliar feed? Are you foliar feeding when it breaks dormancy in the spring, or are you waiting until after the first cutting?
You're gonna have to repeat that. I'm sorry, we had interference.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah. Yep. In the spring of the year, are you foliar feeding when the alfalfa breaks dormancy, Tim, or are you waiting until after they make the first cutting?
Third leaf on new seedings. You get third leaf push, hit it. Yeah. It also depends on triticale. If you have triticale on it, we'll let the alfalfa get to where it's a third leaf and then hit it, regardless of where the triticale is.
What are you using, a couple gallons?
2 gallons per acre.
Yep.
Okay.
Per ad.
So in a season on a field, will you spray it a couple times?
3.
3 times, yes.
3 times.
Yeah.
Every time we take a cutting off, we spray it.
Yeah, okay.
So it grows up.
Are you guys shooting for 3 to 4 cuttings, or mainly stick with 3?
I like 3. I don't want to stress it out any more than that.
Sure. Yeah, I understand that completely. Okay, on your lime spreading, and I realize, that's like you say, there's times you can't get it, but like when you spread lime, do you try to get that on before you plant the alfalfa, or are you planting the alfalfa and then making a first cutting or first year cutting and then spreading your lime? How do you handle that?
Doing corn year.
Last year corn, and then we put it on in the fall, and then right now I'm working my new seedings in. Yes.
Okay. So usually when you spread the lime, you're working it in some way.
It's laying on top right now. We put rye seed on. Mm-hmm. For cover crop, and that seems to work in good with lime. It kind of holds it there for the spring.
When you normally spread it, what kind of rate do you use normally?
We're 2 tons to the acre.
Okay, very good. Do you have any idea what and maybe Timmy can help you with that, the actual percentage of calcium in it?
Yeah, we were running at 28 to 32 coming out of Oriskany Falls. We used to use, back when we started, the Munnsville lime was the hottest thing on earth, and that was at 24%. He probably spread more of that after he got away from the New K lime than anything else. But recently we're drawing out at Oriskany Falls. That's really, really good stuff.
How fine is that, Timmy?
Some is not to my liking. There's some grit, but the fineness for what we get, there's probably, I don't think there's more than 15% coarse, which is still all right in the respects of how much availability that the rest of it gives us.
Yeah.
Now, are you guys spreading it, or do you have the guys you're getting it from spread it? How do you?
I had a guy this fall spread it. Yes.
Okay.
They dumped it. Some of the tractor trailers.
Did he have a regular spreader or manure spreader?
Yeah, he had a big had big flotation tires on it, and it was it did a nice job of spreading this year.
Did it? Okay. Good.
And
So was that a spinner, or did he float it?
he had a spinner on it. Yes.
Okay.
I like the floater, but
Yeah.
beggars can't be choosers anymore.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
What's the reason for? Is it just availability, or finding somebody to haul it for you? What gives you the problems?
Well, both. I was having a hard time. We used to have new thing called New Line come in and did it. They augered it on and did a nice job, but they all got old and retired or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what the reason was, but now we got a new guy coming in. I just got a hold of him. So trying this was the first year with him.
Gotcha. So basically, your rotation is either corn or alfalfa, and you feed
Yes.
it
What was that again?
I'd like to ask you about the variety of the corn you're using. Is there anything? Are you going non-GMO, or you use GMO corn? What's your preference there?
No GMO. No.
Okay.
Mostly Pioneer. I've been planting. Yeah, I'm happy with that corn.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good. So either you're making. Do you make like any earlage or anything, or is most of it either chopped or grain corn?
Chopped, and then we have high moisture corn in the seal store silo.
What are you doing for protein? Are you using bean meal?
Yep, I have a mixture of that, and it's all into a pelletized form, and I get it from the feed company.
Okay. Are you feeding the product at all? Feeding the growers at all?
Sometimes, yep. Of course, all on the plants and stuff. But if I have cows off for a little bit or whatever, I've been given to that, and I can tell the difference on, just by looking at their eyes if they don't feel right or something.
Sure. So how do you talked earlier about, when you were really pushing them, that you backed off on that, and it seemed like your health was much better. Is that pretty standard, you believe?
Yeah, I think I was pushing them too much. They get sore feet, and they'd be a blown up quarter, or they just didn't breathe back right and stuff. Now it doesn't seem like they have that problems as much anymore.
Yeah. So it's
hoof
like everything
there.
else. In the magazines, everybody wants to talk production, and nobody talks about the cost of vet bills and animals that get into trouble.
Yeah, we had the hoof trimmer here, I don't know, 10 days ago, and we didn't have any cows this time or last time with hoof warts or nothing. Their feet look real good, and I don't buy cows anyways. I just raise our own.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. You know what you got.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So about how many acres alfalfa do you run, and about how many acres of corn are you running on average?
About 80.
Yeah, you're about 80 to 110 on alfalfa.
Yeah.
On an average year. Because he cut back on his corn, Jim. Went from about between 60 and 75 back to about 40, I think. That's about what you're planting this year, right?
Yeah.
So increase the number of alfalfa, and the fact of the matter is that even though he seeds back between 25, 30 acres a year of alfalfa, with the growers program, even right from the get-go, we were pulling many more years of really good fields of alfalfa, and which one do you plow down?
Yeah.
And, I can remember one of the first fields Nelson gave me was a 7-year-old field of alfalfa, that if you can help that, we're good. And we kept that going for 12 years, and he finally plowed it. And that's kind of where we got really going.
real deep roots in it too on that alfalfa. Man.
Yeah. What that's, okay, in an ideal situation, what are you happy with on an alfalfa stand? I realize you'd like it to be forever, but give me kind of a number that you like to shoot for.
We go at least 4 to 5 years. Depends on the stand and stuff. Yep. And how it works. We have a lot of strip cropping. We're strips on us because we're on a side hill. So a lot of our strips, and just go by that and see how they are and judge from that.
Yeah, sure. No, absolutely. Well, thank you, sir. That kind of gives guys ideas, of maintaining stands on alfalfa. That we talk to guys about that all the time and see, this research that we did recently that where we're spraying the alfalfa right ahead of a frost. This is a new seeding, and he had very good success with it. We just think the vitality of that plant is a big issue.
Yeah.
Your ability to build that sugar, it's paramount to the success. And see, you turn around and feed that you get that energy in that forage with dairy cows. That's really where the health is at.
Yeah. See, and Jim, that's one of the things that Nelson's always made sure that we focus on is our last spraying is like just about to where we don't have 50 degrees anymore. That really beds that alfalfa down for the fall, and that's been a lot of success. There's been a lot of guys that have had frost heaving around, and I'm telling you what, this alfalfa on this farm just really shines. Yeah. Really shines well.
Especially on a dry year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we had a really dry year when everybody else's alfalfa was parched, and Nelson put in his new seedings and pulled 3 cuttings off his new seedings and 4 off of everything else.
Yeah.
And that was with three apps of growers, and everybody else was dry, and they were asking what he's using, and we told them growers. They're like, no, that can't do it. And that's where we went, and you could, I got pictures somewhere that could show that.
Yeah.
Everybody else, you walk around, it's crunching. Nelson's pulling 3 and 4 cuttings.
Your comment about the depth of rooting, that's really the key. You get that foundation, and see now the thing that's really big that they're starting to promote is this CO2 entrapment, because we got so much going into the atmosphere. And we got to do something about that. Well, they're saying that for the farmers to be trapping CO2, the bigger the root zone, the more entrapment you're going to have, and that's basically correct, because all those roots are covered with that microbiological life. And see, as that plant is fixing that sunlight as sugar, it's feeding it to that microbiological life. And see, when you get those deep roots, you're just putting that biological life deep in the profile.
Yeah.
And see, that's going to be monumental. And the growers is very key to that. We know that, but the other thing is when you get that high calcium lime and get penetration with that, that's helping with that root penetration, which is making a whale of a difference for you.
Yeah.
Speaking on that subject, actually, Jim, it's very impressive to come out here when Nelson is plowing down a piece of alfalfa, because you have root crowns that are an inch around, and that the root goes below the actual plow depth. That's damn impressive. It really is, because you don't see a lot of that. A lot of them, you'll just see the root crowns are broken, the plants die off, and you don't get a lot of roots that'll turn up to the top of the soil. They're almost like corn stalks.
Yeah.
Well, see, this is really, that's a case study on a cover crop. See, this idea that you're going to put in, some kind of crested wheatgrass, after soybeans or corn, and then burn her off in the spring, and you're really going to have a cover crop. That's not going to make it. That alfalfa right there, man. Now that's a cover crop. So.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I agree. I've seen them both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. And it's impressive, you know, when Nelson's like, well, I gotta swap these fields, these strips around, but I don't know which fields to plow down. And I gotta just go ahead and do it anyway.
Yeah.
And you hate to see a really good stand being plowed under, but you gotta keep it going.
Keep going, yeah.
See, the other thing you need to think about with that is you're going to cut that alfalfa and you're going to feed it. Well, it's going to go right into the rumen of the animal. Now, what's in the rumen?
Yeah.
The microbiological life. So when you roll that alfalfa down into that soil, you're feeding that microbiological life. And see, this is the thing we're trying to get guys to think in a different vein. They want to, the chemical companies want you to believe that fertilization is all chemistry and solubilization of nutrients. It's feeding the biological life and then letting that biological life feed the plant. That's where the action is.
Yeah, yes. Yep. Huh.
Yep, no question there. One of the things the organic.
Hey, gentlemen, I enjoyed it very much. I'm going to let Zachy take over, and if you guys have breached everything, then Zach Smith is going to handle it. So.
Yeah,
thanks, Jim.
Thanks.
Nice talking to you, man. Take care, okay?
Yep. Great.
Hey, I got one more question for Nelson there yet. Before you plant your alfalfa seedings, do you do anything specific with the seed?
If I get a chance, I put some liquid growers right on the seed, mix it in, not a lot, but I think that helps get it start germinate quicker.
Is there any specific, how do you?
I got like a little cement mixer, and I put the seed in that and put some growers in that, but I just be careful I can't get too much so I don't plug up my planter, but
right.
I think that gives a little boost too. So
yep.
That's what I try to do with that, but yes.
All right. And the other thing I wanted to speak just a little quick on your manure. You've got some pen pack, but you've also got liquid, correct?
Not really liquid, just what comes from the cows, or we don't have a pit or nothing. No.
Oh, okay.
It's daily spreading.
Okay, daily spreading. All right. And you're also mixing in that high calcium lime now, even in their bedding, correct?
Yeah, we put a lot of lime underneath the cows, keep the bacteria down and stuff like that. And I mean, it's a win-win situation. Every load that goes out, you're spreading lime on the field.
Yep.
Understand.
Especially
when it's hard to get lime.
Yeah. Yep. I understand that.
So a lot of people put down that stuff so it's not slippery, but that has no value at all to it.
All right.
I don't know why they'd even use that for. It eats up your barn cleaner chain and everything else. Well, the lime doesn't hurt it a bit. No.
Mhm.
Yep.
Awesome.
I can't think of much more. If you guys got more questions, I don't know.
The only other question, did you ever have an aha moment with growers that you decided that absolutely it's just going to work?
Mostly on that dry year when we were taking more cuttings off and a lot more yield, and they couldn't cut because there was nothing there to cut. And like the year we had the armyworms.
Yeah.
Tim knows more about that than.
Yeah, when the armyworms were leaving Nelson's and going to Dave Swenson's and Stanley Simon's, the two farms right next door, they were marching off of Nelson's property and destroying everybody else's. And other than the deer hunters that were coming in when he used to have guys coming in every year, come in here to hunt the deer because they would come into Nelson's farm off of everybody else.
They like that.
Come off of Rodman's, Simon's. It was kind of funny.
Yeah,
It really was.
it is. Yeah.
So even the deer knew where to find the best feed at then.
Oh yeah.
Fact.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definite. Won't be eating deer place else, but if you hear eating my hay ground, I wanted them here, but they were here. I don't hunt anyway, so.
Yep. Alrighty.
Is Jim still there, or you're just you and me,
Yeah, no, I'm
Nope.
still here.
Oh, Jim's still okay. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I got to keep an eye on these young guys so that they.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's the transition is, we're making transition. We lost Joe and then we lost Jenny, and the transition is going very well. I think the growers guys, they should feel pretty good about this. The new regime is learning, what it's like to be part of the growers family, and the things that
Yep.
we're seeing. This COVID thing has been very good
Terrible.
from that standpoint. It's because when we've talked about biological life in the past and swabbing soil samples and that, people were looking at us like we had three heads, but now everybody knows what the swab's all about. So the
Yep.
biological thing is really starting to ring true with people, and like I said, what
Right.
you're doing in your operation is really the true way to get that biological to function the way it's supposed to. And you just don't need a lot of that fertilizer to get the job done. It's just that simple.
Great.
Right.
And definitely, so you doing tests on this stuff on individual farms, Jim, or what are we doing on the?
Yeah. Well, the big issue now is trying to identify the biological, and the big issue is that they're saying that the big box stores are going to be starting to look at sustainability. The definition of sustainability is changing to where people want to see the farmer go back to the old approaches of rotation and using less chemical, and see this idea of the biological being a key factor is starting to gain a lot of traction. And testing of it is very, very difficult. And see, we're working with this microbiometer trying to show that you can't stab a soil sample and send it to the lab because the biology changes significantly. You have to do that in what they call real time, right on site. And that's where our research efforts are going right now. And this is something that eventually we want to come to the Wedge farm, stab a soil sample and measure biomass, and then we'll go to the competitors and stab a sample and measure biomass. And if we're on the right track, we think we'll.
That's awesome, and especially on this non-calcareous, is a shale-based soil. You're going to be impressed by pulling that once you get around the rocks. But seriously, it's very, very impressive on the color, the quality of the soil, and even the depth.
That we want to try to quantify that. That's the difficult part now, and we think the industry is heading in that direction too. And this person that's invented this particular test with the microbiometer has worked with human immune systems. So we're trying to figure out what she knows about measuring biological life, and then we
that's an awesome avenue to pursue. I'm liking it a lot.
Really
that's great.
So that's something that we want to let the growers network what we're doing. There's so many questions because it's such a new field to try to quantify that thing. Matt Gooding's doing a lot of that work, and Matt asked about 50 million questions. I said, Matt, we don't know what we're doing. we got to try to figure that out, and then we can put some quantification of numbers to this, and help you guys understand it. And see, we're messing around with the compost teas. We think that kind of gives us a baseline to see if the apparatus works. And once we get confidence in the apparatus, the ultimate is to go to the soil and see what it says about that.
So I guess in that, going back to Biology 101, Jim, so are you actually going to measure the amount of nematodes, protozoa, and bacteria, or where are we going with that actually?
That we don't know. They're telling us that the bacteria and the fungi is the key to the success in soil. And so that's where we're going to start. They think they can quantify both of them. So we'll see if they know. And the ultimate answer is going to be in the production itself. In other words, we can quantify numbers, but the plant has to agree with it. And see, we have people in the past that have tried to quantify numbers, but when we looked at it, we couldn't get the plants to agree with it. So Wilbur Franklin just threw that in the waste can. So now we got to do basically the same thing, see if they are on the right track, and we can make it walk through the plants and the animals too. So wouldn't that come, just not to throw punches out there, but wouldn't that come back to your biomass of root below ground via the biomass above ground? It's got to be able to show that window of what your biological matter is in the soil doing for that plant. That's well. See, the deal is the more root mass, the more sugar you're translocating, and see that's the name of the game, because that's the feed for the biological.
Yep, that's where the carbons hit the road, hit the dirt.
That's right.
Yep.
So, one question I have before I lose you, Jim. Were you trying to retire on us or what?
Oh, no. That I got to keep an eye on the Zach.
All right, good.
Away from the post, they'll be bad boys. So I've got to keep them on the straight and narrow.
Good enough. So you follow them around on your golf cart wherever they go.
Yep.
And get your binocs so you make sure they're taking soil samples and stuff right, and stay in the background, crack the whip.
Well,
we don't want to lose.
The deal is with the COVID thing. We had a few questions about that within my family, and now with the vaccine and that, and things are starting to come around a little bit. Hopefully, we'll get back into some normalcy again, and we'll get back to the field. So that's our goal.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you in New York, mister.
Yeah.
Yeah. No problem.
That's for sure.
We'll drag him back out here again.
After Sensenig.
All righty, John.
There he is. There he is.
There it is.
Yeah, Nelson and Tim there, you did a good job. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us for sure. That was definitely a grand opportunity to be here.
Yeah.
Yep. Excellent.
And just to toss this out there, Tim, because you were asking a little bit there, Jim's not really interested in you guys sending in more soil samples to do. But see, with this new biometer thing, now he can come right to your farm and do your soil sample or your bioforage test or whatever. Right there.
What I was getting at, Zach. That's exactly, because then that way we can get him out here, and he's going to have to spend some time, especially if Nelson's golf cart runs out of gas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, and Zacky's right there. We want to try to make sure that this thing is telling us what we're looking for, and if it is, now this has got some definite advantages for us, so we can kind of help guys understand, if they've got fields that are giving them trouble, and this biometer can tell us something about the biomass. That's the kind of a field we want to attack, and And, before you were talking about this putting the calcium with the manure, the synergy of calcium and manure is fantastic. And see, that we think is going to be one of the things that'll really improve this biomass situation. And if we can quantify that, now we got something to talk about.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nelson's got a 3.5 acre field up here on Deep Springs Road that we put lime on, we put manure on, and he's definitely told me that it's almost not even worth taking alfalfa because we can't figure out how to get that. It'll grow corn like crazy. We cannot figure out how to get that thing to grow alfalfa. It's definitely, it's different. If you can cure that, we'll put up signs everywhere. It's a troubling one for us. It's been kicking us in the butt for years, and I ain't been able to put a pinpoint on it.
Yeah.
Good. This is something that those are the type of things we want to try to attack and see if we can get them figured out.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Awesome.
You're welcome here anytime.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So. Can't think of anything else.
All right, thank you, everybody. Unless there's any other questions.
I think we're all set. Other than when you guys gonna get out here? Don't worry about the mask thing.
No.
We ain't gonna watch you drive up in a car with a mask on. We know better than that. We ain't got masks on now because we can't say that in public, but we just did.
Yeah.
And we ain't 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, gentlemen, thanks very much. It's been a great opportunity.
Yeah, that's fun.
Absolutely. Really appreciate being involved.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well, we certainly
Zach,
enjoyed it.
Everybody
And
for
we
coming
thank
on.
you.
What's that?
I'd just like to thank you guys for coming on and sharing with us tonight and sharing other times when we was up there, and we certainly do appreciate you guys.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, anytime you want to.
Thanks.
All righty. We'll be planning a return trip at some point.
All right, thanks. We'll talk to you again.
Very good.
Yep.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody, for coming on. Remember, our next call is not until September. It'll be the second Thursday of September at 9 p.m. Hope you guys all have a good rest of your spring and summer. Thanks for listening in.
Awesome.
Good night.
All right, thanks.
Thank you much. We'll be looking forward to it for sure.
Yep.
Send us a reminder.
All right.
Right, thanks, gentlemen. And have a good night. Take care.
All right. Thanks. Everybody have a great evening
Okay.
and a great
bye.
summer. Yep.
Thanks much.